the novices, would that be like the minor leagues of Jesuits, I guess? Type of stuff?
Yeah, it's almost more like it's more like the sort of tryout or recruiting stage.
Gotcha.
So technically, the moment that you take vows, you are a member of the Society of Jesus. You're a Jesuit. When you eventually take final vows is when you become fully professed, and that would be like being in the major leagues. And in the meantime, you're kind of in the minors, you know.
Okay.
But it's still pro ball. You're still part of the Jesuits.
Okay.
Yeah. So technically, I am currently a Jesuit. I'm studying to be a priest.
Gotcha. So first question is, what made you become a Jesuit, and what was that moment like when you realized you wanted to go into this?
Yeah. So I decided to become a Jesuit while I was studying theology in grad school. I had a spiritual director, which is a priest that you meet with, a priest or lay person that you meet with once a month to sort of talk about why it is, or you talk about your prayer life, you explore those kind of things. And I was just happened to be meeting with a Jesuit. This Jesuit then invited me to start going on some discernment retreats. And while I was at these retreats, I felt like I was at home. I was meeting young Jesuits in formation, and I met these guys and thought, oh my gosh, I want what they have. Like, I feel like God's been preparing me for this my whole life. And I started praying and asking God, if this is what you want me to do, increase my desire for it. And if you want me to do something else, take away my desire to be a Jesuit and give me a desire for something else. And all that happened was the desire just kept increasing.
Right. And what school was that where you did your grad school?
The University of Dallas.
University of Dallas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got a master's in theology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what stage of the Jesuits are you in right now?
Technically, I am a Jesuit scholastic, which is the kind of a long stage of formation that comes after the novitiate. You're in the novitiate for 2 years, which is when you're discerning if you want to be a Jesuit or not. At the end of those 2 years, if you decide you do want to be a Jesuit, you take vows. And then you are a scholastic basically until you end up taking your final vows, which could be like 10, 12 years later. This particular time, though, in my formation is called Regency, which is when you teach at a high school or something else.
Okay, and with that, did you want to come to Regis, or were you just chosen to come here?
Well, you're always missioned for a new assignment. That being said, when I met with my provincial to have that discussion, I had been praying about, if he were to ask me where I wanted to go, what would maybe my top 3 responses be out of all the different possibilities of places to go. And I sat down with my provincial, and he kind of just immediately went into it and said, I'd like you to pray about Regis Jesuit. And I said, I already have prayed about it. I'd love to go there.
There we go.
So the Holy Spirit was working both ways,
And what did you like about Regis so much, Regis Jesuit so much that you wanted to come here? Like, what was that big thing you were like, all right, I got to go there and experience it?
Yeah. My friends that went to Regis, I think the thing that the Regis Jesuit grad had in common that I had met over and over was just this spirit of joy and kind of excitement and laughter as well. And there was something about that got me really excited. My good friends like Brian Strasburger and Father Ronnie O'Dwyer and some of the younger guys now that are in the society like Peter Bell and Matt Hurley, Sean Ferguson, Chris McCoy. They just had this joy with them. I'm like, man, what's it like there, And that's kind of what I guess pulled me toward to Regis Jesuit.
And part of Regis, you are part of the football team.
That's right, the chaplain.
Yeah, what's that role like? And are you a part of any other clubs or sports here at Regis?
Yeah. As chaplain of the football team, I give a talk to the entire football program every Monday that is based on a certain theme for the week that is selected by Coach Kellerman and I. And throughout the rest of the week, the coaches kind of tend to emphasize that theme, whether it's perseverance or faith, brotherhood. And then, I show up at practices when I can, and then try to go to the games on the weekend and just be support to the players. They don't very often ask me for advice about plays and that kind of thing. But yeah, just try to be that emotional and spiritual support, and I've loved it. It's been a blast. And then of course, praying before and after the games. Yeah.
Right.
And then in terms of other groups, I haven't gotten too involved with anything else yet. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for more things. And
bring back the slugs.
yeah. And I'm also I've also started a group for guys that are discerning, possibly becoming a Jesuit or a priest, called the Cannonball Club.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested, let me know.
And then just one last question. What is your end goal or your big goal as a Jesuit? Like, what do you aspire to be?
This may sound kind of cliche or cheesy, but really all I aspire to be is whatever God's asking of me. I think one of the reasons I joined the Jesuits is I loved this idea of that God can use me as his instrument, that through trying to follow God's will in my life, that's what's going to bring God greater glory. And that's also, in the end, what's going to bring me the most joy, is kind of living in that connection with God. So I really am happy to do whatever the society asks me to do in the future. Though I got to say, I love high school work. And if they asked me to work at Regis Jesuit High School the rest of my life, let's say let's do it,